everyone and welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're all doing well. It's Eveniss, my real name is Thalia and I come from Greece. As you may already know, BTS are a huge part of my life, and me along with other Greek fans have noticed BTS's appreciation for our country. Their discography and videography are full of references to the ancient Greek culture, so I decided to address all of these references in one video. I've been working on this idea for a very long time, so please give this video a big thumbs up, share it around with your army friends and leave a comment down below. Also, in case you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for all the new videos. Now, let's begin. Do you remember these times during the lives or run when BTS mentioned Greece in some sort of way?
그리스 방문하고 싶은 생각 없어요. 그리스 가고 싶어요. 그래서 재밌을 것 같아요. 꼭 여행하고 싶은 곳? 저 요즘 그리스 가고 싶고.
You see yourself exploring other music genres. By the way, I'm a big fan of Dionysus.
이번 문제는 그리스 발음입니다.
그리스까지 갔어?
Zihin alnaganga bulyo sao yeon en mal.
아니,
와 이거 진짜.
참 이거 곡을 알려줘야 돼. 이거.
그러니까 이거 알것 같아. 이게 뭔지를 알고 마이크 들어갈게요.
마이크 들어요?
형 자꾸 막 아는 척. 미안하다.
이런 말이 있죠. 건포도를 아는 자가 진정한 식빵을 즐길 줄 아는.
그렇죠, 바로 이겁니다.
왜냐면은 이 말이 소크라테스의 명언인데요.
소크라테스예요, 뭐라고요?
소크라테스를 따라한 칭하냐. 소크라테스.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about these moments today. I actually want to focus more on the songs and music videos or even performances in which Greek elements were used, and I'll be following a chronological order. First of all, let's focus on the Wings era. The whole Blood, Sweat and Tears music video contains scenes that are inspired by ancient Greek mythology. In the opening scene, we can see a painting of Icarus right here. It is the Lament of Icarus by Herbert James Draper, and it depicts the dead body of the young man surrounded by nymphs who are mourning for him. According to the myth, Icarus was the only son of Daedalus, who was a well-known craftsman and architect. He was the one who built the famous labyrinth and the one who gave Ariadne the thread, which assisted Theseus in finding the exit to the labyrinth after he had killed Minotaurus. The king of Crete, Minos, learned about Daedalus's contribution to Theseus's escape from the labyrinth and kept him captive in there. On an effort to escape from Crete, Daedalus decided to make 2 pairs of wings out of feathers and melted candle for him and his son. Together they flew over the Aegean Sea, leaving Crete behind them. But Icarus disobeyed his father and flew too close to the sun. The candle melted and he fell in the sea, ending up dead, symbolizing the fall of any person who acts carelessly or driven by some sort of selfish ambition. There are more references to the specific myth in the music video. We can find the same painting in more scenes of Jungkook, like this one, and the swinging scene over here. And there is another painting right behind V. As I read, this background is inspired by this painting by Peter Bruegel the Elder, called The Landscape with the Fall of Icarus. In the original painting, Icarus can be spotted to have fallen in the water. This fall from the balcony probably symbolizes the fall somebody experiences after sinning. The result was that he lost his wings, just like Icarus. The whole music video seems to be representing the battle between good and evil, between staying pure or giving in to temptation. I'll now take you back to the swinging scene. You probably noticed some feathers floating around the room. That's a reference to the demolition of Icarus's wings after his fall. In addition, I found that the feathers and the labyrinth are elements that connect the Blood, Sweat and Tears music video with the Young Forever music video. I'd now like to talk about the statues that represent characters from Greek mythology. Here is Perseus with the head of Medusa by Cellini. Medusa was a creature in human form that had snakes instead of hair on her head and could petrify anyone who would look into her eyes. Perseus was the one who beheaded her. And there is the Laocoon and his sons. Laocoon was a Greek priest who had his sons killed by 2 snakes. We can see Suga hitting Jimin on the head as they are passing by the statue, which is a symbol for punishment. Another beautiful statue is Crouching Venus, that represents Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, taking her bath. She is also known as Aphrodite, which means the one who was born out of the sea foam. Another Venus can be seen here, it's Venus de Milo, and a third one is on this painting, which is titled as Venus at the Forge of Vulcan by Francesco Solimena. Venus is part of the Roman mythology too. Same goes for Diana or Artemis, who was the goddess of hunting and the wilderness, and whose statue can be spotted in this scene as well as in the Awake music video. Let's move on to another major symbol in the Wings era, which is no other than the apple. The apple is mentioned in both the Roman and the Greek mythology as well as in the Bible, and it is associated with temptation. Sticking to Greek mythology, I'd like to talk to you about the Garden of Hesperides and the famous golden apples. Hesperides were considered to be the nymphs of evening and the golden light of sunsets. They were daughters of Atlas, and they lived in the garden in order to guard the golden apples, along with a 100-headed dragon named Ladon. These apples were a wedding gift from Yria, the goddess of earth, to Hera and Zeus, and Hera placed them in the garden so as that Hercules would never reach them. You see, his 11th out of the 12 labors he had to complete was to bring these apples to Eurystheus. After a long and challenging journey, Hercules managed to complete this labor. However, the apples belonged to the gods, so Hercules eventually gave them to Athena, who returned them back in the garden. But this is not the only version of the myth. You may have heard about the apple of discord. According to another version of the myth, Eris, the goddess of discord, was furious to not have been invited to the wedding of Thetis and Peleus. So she wanted to cause some kind of upheaval amongst the other goddesses. She took one of the golden apples and threw it among the guests. The apple was inscribed with the phrase, "To the fairest." Someone had to decide on which goddess deserved to receive the apple, Hera, Athena, or Aphrodite. Paris, the Prince of Troy, had to make this decision and eventually picked Aphrodite because she promised to bring him the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen of Troy. The apple of discord is traditionally an apple that causes disagreements and disunity among people. It also stands for the imperfections and insecurities that people hold in their souls. It appears in 3 music videos: Blood, Sweat and Tears, Awake, and Lie, representing the battle with temptation that each one of the members had to go through. It is an amazing era indeed, with lots of symbolical representation, much attention to detail, and extremely well-made music videos, leaving room for psychological and historical investigation. Let's move on to the Love Yourself era and the Fake Love music video teaser number 1. Another dark and mysterious concept, that is, during my research I found out that this scene is a reference to Pandora's box. The word box is actually a mistranslation of the Greek word pithari, which actually means a large jar that was made of clay and was used for storage. According to Hesiod, this jar contained sickness, death, and every kind of evil such as pain, greed, hatred, hunger, poverty, and war, so as that people could be protected by all of these sufferings. Pandora was assigned to take care of the jar, but she opened it out of curiosity since she wasn't aware of its content. All of the previously said evils were released to the world, and the only thing that was left behind was hope. In the Fake Love teaser, Jungkook opens this lock to see a room full of dirt and completely distracted. This is said to be the reference to Pandora's box and all of the evils and fears the members had to face during their career. J-Hope has also referred to this myth in his recent solo work. There is a whole song in his album that is being titled Pandora's Box and talks about this theme. What is more, in the More music video, we see him opening a cardboard box in the beginning and closing it in the end of the music video. In the meantime, it seems like he's releasing or actually confessing all of his pain and the struggles he had to go through until now. The lighting is dim and the music video's color are overall dark, but in the end, he is still there, symbolizing the hope that's been left after the box was opened. Let's not forget about the album's intro that is dedicated to narrating this myth. On another note, V in Singularity seems to be narrating the story of Narcissus. In Greek mythology, Narcissus was a very handsome young man who one day saw his reflection in the waters of a lake and fell in love with it. Without knowing that this man was himself, he kept on asking him to go out of the water and ended up being in constant pain because he couldn't be with him. He even tried to kiss the reflection once, and after he failed, he killed himself out of desperation for this unrequited love. On the spot he died, bloomed a beautiful white flower, which was named Narcissus after him. Through the years, this story has been connected to narcissistic tendencies or narcissistic behavior, and many people use it as an example to illustrate how bad it is for someone to obsess over themselves or care too much about themselves. However, if you ask for an additional interpretation by me, I would say that the myth mostly shows how harmful and destructive it can be for someone to obsess over someone or something that they can't have, to remain in a hopeless situation instead of moving forward. The relation of this myth to the music video and song lies in the lyrics as well as the white flower Taehyung holds. As the song says, I dumped myself into the lake, I buried my voice for you. And also, I suddenly ran to the lake, there is my face in it. Furthermore, the masks appearing in both Singularity and Fake Love were widely used in the ancient Greek theater. The actors only performed while wearing masks on their faces. One actor would usually perform on stage as multiple characters, so he would wear different masks to appear as someone else each time he was on stage. This could be an implication for the mask artists have to wear and the persona they need to create and show to the world, which may be different from their true self and deepest of feelings. This is further clarified by Namjoon in Intro Persona. And now it's time for the Map of the Soul era on what has to do with Boy with Love. There is another reference to Icarus in the lyrics of the song. It can be found in RM's part. The lyrics mean, with the wings of Icarus you gave me, to you, not to the sun, let me fly. At this point, I'd like to talk about the fourth version of Map of the Soul Persona and the third version of Map of the Soul 7 album, in which the concept photos seem to be inspired by the ancient Greek god Dionysus. We see lots of wine, grapes, vines, golden cups, silver jars, statues, even a musical instrument called laguto or lauto, which is a stringed instrument and is used in traditional Greek music to accompany the sound of violin or other musical instruments. The link to Dionysus is that he was one of the 12 gods of Olympus and he was associated with wine, grapes, celebrations and having fun. The same theme is being delivered by BTS in the song Dionysus, which is part of the previously mentioned albums. This is exactly what the song itself seems to be talking about. Well, in every performance of the specific song, BTS appeared on stage dressed as Greek gods. Their clothes remind us of the ancient Greek garment called chitonas. At the same time, Namjoon was holding a thyrsos, meaning a wand traditionally covered with ivy vines and leaves or even grapes, which was used in religious ceremonies that were associated with Dionysus. I feel so happy as a Greek and truly blessed to have witnessed this performance live in Paris. BTS carried out the performance in such a spectacular way, and I thank them a lot for their hard work. But now let's continue talking about some more performances. In their MMA performances of 2019, Jin, during his special Danger Dance, enters the stage on a huge horse, which many fans interpreted as a reference to the Trojan horse. It's also a possible link to the horses that appear on stage, during their Dionysus performance later on, that are also referring to the Thracian horses probably, and that's another link to the god Dionysus. As for their Dionysus performance, we notice that right before the vocals begin, there are these beautiful flower girls on stage who represent Maenads. They were the followers of Dionysus, and their name means to be mad or ecstatic, which refers to their state of mind when they were holding celebrations for the specific god. They were also associated with taking care of the vines and making wine for him. In these celebrations, they would wear similar clothing as the one we see the girls wearing on stage, and they would hold what else but a thyrsos. The myth wants Dionysus to be running around nature and fields of vines along with Maenads, satyrs and Selines, who were his main followers. We can see some more girls that are playing the harp on the background. The harp was a very significant part of the ancient Greek music, and it was highly associated with Apollo, the god of music and light. As for the panther that is visible in this scene, it was believed by ancient Greeks that this was one of the favored mounts of the god Dionysus. Last but not least, the pillars right here and the whole background reminds us of the temple of Dionysus in Yria, Naxos. It was his main temple along with the one in Thebes, and it was built in around 1400 BC. Naxos Island was a common place to hold celebrations for Dionysus in ancient Greece. These celebrations mostly had to do with fertility, since he was associated with fertility too. One can still visit the ruins of the temple in Naxos Island. It's about 3 kilometers away from the center of Hora, and I can provide you with more information down in the description box. Some final yet important details that I'd like to address have to do with Mikrokosmos and trivial love. Mikrokosmos is again a Greek word that basically means a small world, a small universe, or a small group of people, a small place, society, or situation that shares characteristics with something larger. The song probably talks about our own small world, the one BTS and ARMY created for each other through our love that reaches every corner of this planet. Personally, I believe it emphasizes the concerts and how we create small cities inside the stadiums with our lights, social groups that are driven by the same passion for music and the same love towards our favorite artists. About trivial love, I love that in Namjoon's performance of the song, the phrase "I love you" was featured in so many different languages, and the Greek phrase "Sagapo" was there as well. The same thing happened during their MMA performance of Mikrokosmos in 2019, which is definitely one of their most outstanding performances ever, if you ask me. However, this isn't only about Greece. What matters the most is that they wanted to honor people from so many countries during this performance. It's an utmost honor to me as an ARMY that they recognize us as a worldwide fandom and pay special attention to each part of this earth. So, no matter where we come from or where we live, we are still connected to each other through music and love. It's beautiful that all of us can be part of this big family and that we try to respect each other's culture, we celebrate our differences and our similarities, and I hope that we'll all stay united for a long, long time under our bright rainbow that is BTS. So that was all. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I'd like to thank you so much for watching until the end. And please forgive me if I didn't provide you with adequate explanations on something. And if I made any mistakes, feel free to provide me with feedback down in the comments. I know that ancient Greek mythology and Greece in general may be quite romanticized, and in this video I probably showed you this romanticized version of my country. If you know anything about Greek mythology, nothing is that innocent in these stories. And about modern Greece, of course, it's not only about islands and having fun. Things are much different if you live here. However, this doesn't mean that you can't focus on the beautiful parts of Greece, of its history, and this goes for any place around the world. I put my heart and soul in this video. If you like this video, you can give it a like and share it around with your friends and family. You can even consider subscribing to my channel for more relevant content very soon. Don't forget to stay safe, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye bye!